Good evening and welcome to Orient Live. The O's are looking to bounce back from that late heartbreak on Saturday in that defeat and get back to winning ways, sitting just outside the playoffs. Every game and every point matters now, and we're going to be bringing you all the action here on Orient Live. And with us, as always, is Andrew Butler, and our very special guest tonight is Jack Simpson. Jack, firstly, gutting to not have you in the squad tonight, but how have you been? How's the ankle holding up?
Yeah, it's okay. Been a bit of a frustrating couple of weeks, trying to get back out there with the lads. Kind of a day-to-day process at the moment to see what I'm able to do. Fingers crossed maybe Saturday. Just see how the next few days go.
And looking at tonight, it's a big game, and I think probably made a bit bigger by recent fixtures.
Yeah, I mean, we speak quite a bit on this show about games that are must win, and I always tell you off for saying that any game before Christmas is a must win. I don't think that, but we're getting to that stage of the season where you just look at fixtures and go, come on, if we can just bounce back from Saturday's disappointment and get a win, it'll be kind of just gets us back in there in the mix. And I'm not going to get too ahead of ourselves. Obviously, the last couple of weeks haven't been ideal, but it's been a really, really tough run of fixtures. But with Rotherham away and then Northampton at home this Saturday, it's those kind of games where you're like, right, we can actually get right back amongst it if things go our way.
Yeah, as Andrew touched on, a really tough run of fixtures with kind of the size and the position of the teams we've been playing. Saturday must have been really disappointing, but considering the run up until maybe the last handful, three games or so, the run's been so good, I'm sure confidence is still high in that dressing room.
Yeah, definitely. I think even if you look at the games that we lost, Bolton, that game changed very quickly, and I think for a lot of that we did look comfortable. I think obviously the injury to Coops probably didn't help us. We didn't have cover in that position. Birmingham, we all know what happened there. Couldn't ask anything more of the lads, and for the first 10 minutes we looked really positive, like we were going to give them a good game. And then obviously on Saturday it was just gutting, and again, these things happen in football, but I think if you look at the overall three performances, definitely we know we can be better, but we're not a million miles away, and I think there's still a lot of confidence in this group that we can pick up a lot of points. That's
the thing, there is a lot of points to be fought for. There's a lot of football to be played, despite maybe some of the celebrations we saw on the weekend. These positions aren't final, and everything's to play for.
Yeah, absolutely, and things will change, and no doubt this evening as well, because you see the other fixtures happening around League One. Obviously we can't do anything about them, but there'll be lots of changes happening above us and around us this evening. So obviously you have to focus on our assignment this evening, which is to get a victory against a Rotherham team who aren't in fantastic form but did get a big win on Saturday.
Well, without much further ado, let's hear from the main man, Richie Wellens.
Go for a setback on Saturday, but I guess a sign of good teams is that they're able to bounce back from these setbacks, and that's the challenge for us now.
Well, that's all you can do. It's important that the players don't get too down. We didn't perform to the level that we have been for a number of weeks, and that's disappointing. But I've no doubt that these players will react in the right way. They've done it all season. They've responded from setbacks all season. So, I've not been as down after a game for a long, long time, because the position we would have been in would have been a really, really good position. But it shows how far we've come, that we're disappointing to lose to clubs like Charlton. And it's still all there for. We've got to fight. We've got to respond from this. But like I say, the character, I'll never question them. The work rate was there. It's just that sometimes we need to work a little bit smarter. But like I say, the character of this team is, for me, never in doubt. They'll respond again in the right way.
Where do Rotherham's biggest threats lie?
Well, they've got three strikers that play narrow, competitive, big, strong, can run in behind. Johnson Clark-Harris has been a threat in this league for a long, long time. Experience all over the pitch. So, it's the same as any other opponent. It's difficult games. You've got to be at your maximum. You've got to do the basics right to get 3 points. You can't be conceding from set plays like we did on Saturday.
Well, Saturday's behind us now. We look forward to this evening's fixture. Let's see with the starting lineup that Richie Wellens has opted for today. Starting in goal, of course, is Josh Keeley. Across the back line, Ethan Galbraith is at right back, with Jaden Sweeney at left back as well. Brandon Cooper and Romani Edmonds-Green are at the heart of defence, with Jordan Brown and tonight's captain Don Ball shoring up the midfield. Jamie Donnelly plays through the middle in that 10 position, with Dan Adjie and Dylan Markanday on either flanks, with Charlie Coleman leading the line. And Noah Phillips is on the bench alongside Randall Williams, Darren Pratley, Sonny Perkins, Jalang Jaisimi, Sean Clare and Azim Abdullahi. So let's take a look, and Jack, let's talk about the defence, because from I think about 75 minutes on Tuesday we were playing against two 6'3" strikers. It was real tough, but they did themselves proud considering the amount of injuries we've got to that defensive unit. To a man, they tried extremely hard.
Yeah, no, I think the fullbacks did brilliantly. 1v1 all game. Even when they came on, Sweens and Galley really dealt with Campbell and Small, and limited their crosses, and made the centre half's jobs a lot easier at times. They've done that all season, the fullbacks, and then Coops and Reg. I think the centre halves on would have told you, if any of us were playing, that would have been difficult. So I think sometimes all you can do is do your best. I think maybe we could have been a bit more aggressive with our line. We said that as a group after when we spoke about it, but I think they all did themselves justice.
They certainly did, and tonight it's got to be a similar affair as Steve Evans' side. We're going to need to probably be as aggressive as Jack says.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get with the Steve Evans side at this level. I think every fan knows that if you're going to face up to a Steve Evans side, it's going to be fairly direct, fairly physical, perhaps not fantastic to watch. But when we played them earlier this season, we it was a game that we'd had a fairly ropey start to the season, and a game that we kind of really got into the trenches against them and almost played them at their own game. A big header to win the game from Dan Happy eventually got us all 3 points, and it's that type of game that we've been quite good at actually doing. I thought the Wrexham game wasn't kind of fantastic in allowing us to play the type of game that we've been able to play in some games this season, but came out of there with a win on a Tuesday night as well. And I think we just have to really dig deep, especially with what happened on Saturday, to kind of show not just to ourselves but also to the rest of the league that okay, we might have lost 3 in a row, but we are where we are for a good reason, and that's to get these wins.
And you've touched on it already, Jack, but let's look at the fullback position, in particular Sweeney, because his options, or his opportunities, so far this season have been limited with how good Jack Curry's been. But with that suspension on, as you've said, Saturday he was phenomenal. And you look at this lineup tonight now, and you've got full faith in him there, haven't you?
Oh, 100%. You know, I've played with Swings quite a few times now, and he's one of them players I don't even think about or worry about. Like, I know he's got my back, and you can trust him 1v1 out there defensively, and not just that, like, he can get forward, and, you know, he's an up and down modern day fullback. Curry's been unbelievable. We all know how good he's been this season, and this has been his opportunity. This is how football works sometimes, and, you know, he's doing himself justice, and hopefully tonight he can keep them performances coming.
Saw on Saturday as well, Charlton maybe attacked down their left-hand side and Ethan at right back quite relentlessly, and maybe they saw that as a way in to get to us. He dealt with it very well, and it's more about what he offers bringing forward as well, isn't it? He's in there tonight in a battle like it's going to be. He's going to need to bring that technical quality. Yeah,
but I mean, every challenge that has been thrown his way this season, be it moving from a perhaps preferred position, pretty much started the season as a number 10. He's played centre midfield for us as well, and then moved to right back. Obviously, Tom James has been incredibly unfortunate with his injuries, and every challenge that is thrown towards Ethan Galbraith, he deals with on the pitch, off the pitch, moving positions, and to get to the stage of this campaign with 40 appearances, but also 5 goals and 6 assists, more or less all from that right back position, shows just what a threat he is. But also, he's such a good player that we don't really actually kind of consider his defensive capabilities and his defensive work, because we kind of see the eye-catching moments that he provides, and so everything that he's had thrown at him, I think on Saturday was going to be tough, but also deals with it brilliantly, and also just so calmly. He's one of those players who just kind of has that innate ability to be able to make the right decision pretty much 99% of the time. And even that right back, as Andrew's touched on, he's probably one of our most attacking outlets on the field. And I know that's probably the way that Richie likes to play, but it's also an example of his quality, isn't it? Yeah, he touched on it there. The way we want to play is with both fullbacks coming in and being a big part of how we link play up and, you know, overload in the middle. But I think you just watch Gally play, like, he's head and shoulders above sometimes people on the pitch. He's been brilliant for a number of months now, and he is playing as basically an inverted fullback centre mid on the ball, but off the ball he is having to do his 1v1 defensive duties, and to be honest I can't really think of anyone who's got the better of him so far. I don't think that there have been too many that do, and he complements a really, as you've seen in the last couple of months, a fluid attack, and it's nice, I guess, having that behind you when you've got the attacking players he does have in front of him. And tonight, let's look at the 3 behind the striker, Najee, Donnelly and Markanday. That's a very agile, very fluid front 3 you've got there. It looks, I think we can cause Rotherham a lot of problems. Yeah, massively. And you just look at the kind of the numbers also that those players have put up. Obviously, Ajee's got 10 goals, Kelman's got 15, Donnelly's got 6 goals plus 6 assists. So the numbers are also there, but also we know that their ability is also incredible. And I thought Dylan Markanday had probably his best game for us. I know he's only been with us for just over a month. On Saturday, he looked so nimble, so agile, was always going to cause them problems. And that was actually him on the left-hand side. We've kind of seen him operate more on that right-hand side, cut in, and sometimes those players can make it look a bit telegraphed, a bit obvious. But on the left-hand side, as a fan watching it actually on Saturday, I was really interested to know whether or not he was going to be brave and cut inside onto perhaps his less favoured right foot. And he did that actually quite often to get almost thrown off the Charlton defence, because you might expect him to go down the left hand side, but he cut in, which freed up loads of space for Sonny on the right hand side and Jamie in the middle as well. So it's been an incredible front line for us. Every time we've got to a stage in a game like this where it's felt like, okay, it's more a case of like, who's going to be playing, and you have no cause for concern for any of them. So hopefully we'll be able to get that kind of nice and fluid and coherent again this evening. I've got to ask, if you were a Rotherham centre-back tonight, put yourself in their shoes, and you're seeing Jamie Donnelly in that number 10 position, and you've got to worry about Ajee and Markanday kind of coming in from either side. Then you've got the threat of Kelman in the form he has been of late as well. What are you thinking looking at that attacking setup? Yeah, it's a headache for sure. Because, you know, you're in for a tough game on the ball and off the ball. You know, the one thing I think teams are starting to see it now with such a good pressing team.
and them four are so important to that. They set the press, they make everyone's job easier behind. And then because of the way we press and the way when we play well, we play quickly, they get the ball and all of them are just moving, running in behind it. It's just caused chaos. It could be a nightmare to defend. You know, I'm glad I don't really have to play against them very often.
Absolutely. And just a quick word on Dan Adji as well then, because we've maybe breezed over the fact that even in recent weeks he's getting back into the starting 11 from that injury. And that is, you know, I think one of the most dangerous players in the division. To have him back, and when we maybe need to turn things around only slightly, it's a massive boost.
Yeah, in full flow, there's very few players like him in this division. I think some defenders face him up and think, oh, I'll know how to get the better of him because he likes those kind of body swerves going on the outside, and then all of a sudden he's gone and he's disappeared. And so defenders can't get tight to him, but also equally you don't want to give him too much space as well because he will happily take you on and just use his pace to get past you. So good to see him back. I love watching him play personally. So yeah, hopefully he's kind of at it straight from the off.
Hopefully so indeed. Well, don't forget, if you're watching along live on our YouTube preview stream, then tonight, UK fans, you can listen along with an audio pass, but it is of course available to stream for international fans for just £10. So if you're watching live on YouTube, just head over to the Match Centre on the Orient website to pick up your streaming or audio pass for this one here on Orient Live. But now let's take a short break from the coverage of today's game and take a look at a career fair that the club hosted earlier this week.
Today is the Careers Fair, a group of aged 15 to 24-year-old students to come in, talk to employers from a range of different sectors, give them a bit of an understanding about what careers they can pursue, how they get there, recruitment advice. So we do a lot in terms of education outreach. Apprenticeships are a really key pathway into audit and finance, but also a lot of sectors. So raising awareness of apprenticeships is a key career progression pathway is really important to us as a firm as well. And yeah, outreach strategy and working with local communities and partners like Leyton Orient is key to that, because there's companies from such a range of different sectors. Being able to do it at a venue and club that is kind of bringing everyone together means it's open to students considering lots of different things as well.
We often host insight days, work experience, etc. But we wanted to work with the other partners, and we came up with an idea to do something with the trust, and this is where the career fair came from. I think we've had over 250 registrations from young people. We've got probably over 25 companies here from all different industries. We're trying to build on this. So from here, what we want to see is lots more schools getting involved, really giving young people opportunities to know what's out there in the corporate world, and the opportunities in terms of apprenticeships, work experience, insight days. The synergy with the trust is the perfect balance for us, and that's why we're excited to continue working with the trust. We want to give opportunities to young people, for the kids to understand that there are jobs out there in the corporate world, in the city, in London, in Mayfair, and it's just giving those opportunities, or those the understanding that there are companies out there that will open doors for them.
Right then, just a very quick reminder that there's only 5 regular home league games left this season, so only 5 opportunities to get down to the holy ground of the Gotham Group Stadium and get behind the lads. All tickets are on sale on the match, over on the match centres on the website. Limited availability for the next couple of games, so make sure you get over and get your tickets ASAP. But right then, time to touch on the midfield battle tonight. We've spoken about a battle that it's going to be, and we look at Richie's gone for Don Ball and Jordan Brown tonight. Darren Pratt played a lot of minutes on Saturday, and you obviously always want your experience of Darren, but Don Ball and Jordan are two warriors in that midfield as well.
Yeah, in between them, Dom's got a hell of a lot of experience, and Brownie, for his, even though how young he is, again, I think he's played probably the most out of all the midfielders this season, it feels like. So there's a lot of experience between them two, and you know, you can trust them two to win the battle. I think probably the thing we've been most consistent at during that good run was, I think we always seemed to win the midfield battle, whether it was the second duels or controlling the game, whatever the game required. And you know, the 4 or 5 lads that have been kind of rotating out of them two have done a brilliant job of that this season.
We haven't seen too much of Don Ball due to, he's had a couple of injury problems of his own, but he's wearing the armband tonight, and he was the hero at Wrexham on Tuesday night. As I said, they're wearing the armband. What's he like as a captain? It's obviously a credit to him to pick the armband up so quickly. Yeah,
I haven't played with him as a captain, but in terms of a lad, kind of what I'd expect him to be on the pitch is how he is at the training ground. He's quite calm. He's just he's someone you just look to in times of need. Wrexham, you just know he'll be there, he'll do his job, and he'll lead by example. He is vocal, but I'd say perhaps maybe can be a bit louder at times. But he is a leader on the pitch and someone that the lads look to, and we need it, like at that Wrexham game, and just a great lad that everyone enjoys having around the change room.
We're starting to maybe stop seeing Jordan Brown as the young centre mid who needs an experienced head next to him. He's probably not talked about enough of how important he is for this team.
Ever since he joined the club, I've been a big fan of his. When we signed him from Derby, a friend of mine who works there just said, he's a great kid. Kind of look after him and take care of him, because he was quite well liked in Derby's academy, and it was just kind of the circumstances of the club that led to him having to leave and join us. But we've massively benefited from him being here. He kind of goes under the radar a little bit, but I love the fact that on Saturday he got a goal that kind of, it feels like he's been threatening to score that type of goal for a while, because he can strike a ball so cleanly as well. But this is his goal on Saturday. It's so deliberate what he's doing as well. It hits it so well, but with that little bit of fade. As soon as he hit it, I was kind of like edging up onto my feet. And then as soon as it hits the back of the net, it was incredible. But he's been a real asset in like lots of facets of play as well. When he joined, he was, I don't know. I feel like, he looked kind of like a boy, because he pretty much was when he joined, and now he's definitely added more to his game. He gets around the pitch well, gets his challenges in, always nips the ball away from his opposite numbers as well in the midfield, and yeah, he's been excellent.
Maybe should have scored
that one.
Early doors, but I think he more than made up for it with that goal, which would have been nice if it had meant points. But hey, we move on now and we take a look at tonight's home side. It's Steve Evans' Rotherham, who are also looking to probably pick up some more points and move up the table themselves. But here is how they line up, and starting in goal for them, the brother of the keeper on the bench for the O's tonight, it's Noah's brother Dylan Phillips, who starts in goal for the Millers. In defence, we have Sean McWilliams, Hakeem Odafin, Zach Jules and Reece James. And in midfield, Pelly, Roddick, Mapanzu, Cameron Humphreys and Joe Powell. And then the 3 attackers is Sam Nombe, Malik Wilkes and the captain, Johnson Clark Harris. And on the bench for them is Cameron Dawson, Louis Sibley, Ben Hatton, Joshua Coyote, Jack Holmes, Jordan Hugill and Andre Green. So I think we've touched on it a little bit in a sense of the battle that it's going to be, but what stands out to you from this Rotherham side?
It is the front three, I would say. There's a lot of power, pace, experience. I think after the weekend as well, they might be thinking, can we, just put it on them and maybe cause problems? But I have no doubt that the lads physically will compete tonight. It will be them three dealing with them three physically, and if we can deal with them three, then I think we can cause them a lot of problems, especially going forward with like the front four we've already spoke about.
What do you make of it? We spoke a bit about the kind of sides that we play good football against and have success against. We need to out-football them tonight, don't we?
I think so, and it's quite an intriguing matchup, really, just because of the ways that our respective games ended at the weekend. So they get a 3-2 win against Bristol Rovers with a 92nd minute winner, and then we concede in the 97th minute to lose our game. So you feel like they might be on a bit of a high, and will definitely need picking up from the weekend. They are in not great form, but they've been quite a funny side this season, because I know it's not an exact barometer. I know it's not kind of like an excuse for where they've ended up in the table, but they actually have the second highest XG in League One as well. they've just been quite wasteful. So when they're at it, they're at it, but they've kind of lost games quite marginally just by wasting very, very good opportunities. So we really need to be alive to that threat this evening.
Certainly do. And I think you've touched on it already, Jack, but Johnson Clark-Harris is the name that I think a lot of fans who have watched League One football in the last couple years, he's the name that would jump out. He's experienced for this level, and he's always a danger. We've said it when talking about Reg and Coops at the back, but he's going to ask them a lot of questions, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's going to be a physical presence. He's going to link up the play from when they go long. You know, Wilkes and Nombre would look to feed off him. Sometimes they might get the glory in the goal, but a lot of the times I feel like maybe it's him who's causing the problems to the defence and, you know, occupying maybe two defenders at times. But I have no doubt Coops and Reg can deal with him. You know, between them two, they've played a lot of games and, you know, they've built up a little bit of a partnership now probably over the last 3-4 games. So be a good test for them tonight and confident they can deal with them.
And if we take a look at some of the goals they've conceded, Andrew, you associate Steve Evans' side with being hard to beat and not conceding many goals, but it's probably not been the case for them this season as some would have expected.
Yeah, this was one of the goals from the weekend, a very familiar face you'll see, Roy Satiri scoring there to open the scoring for Bristol Rovers, and yeah, these clips will kind of make them look a little bit sloppy. There's a couple of penalties in there, a couple of goals where they've completely lost their men in defence, and so there is certainly space to exploit back there. And we were talking about how good our front four has been this season. I think if we can just pin them back, they don't play with a great deal of possession in most of their games. So if we can kind of make that possession count, then I'm sure that we'll be having a very positive evening.
Oh, that certainly would be nice. Definitely a team that can be got at here. And well, there's just 5 minutes to go until kick-off now. So let's remind ourselves of how the O's are lining up ahead of this crucial kick-off. And starting in goal for the O's, of course, is Josh Keeley. Across the defence, you have Jaden Sweeney at left back with Ethan Galbraith at right back with Brandon Cooper and Romani Edmonds-Green pairing up in the centre-back positions. Jordan Brown and tonight's captain Don Baller in the midfield with Dylan Markanday, Jamie Donnelly and Dan Adjie just ahead of them two. And it's Charlie Kelman who leads the line. He's been fantastic from of late. Let's see if he can add some more to his tally for the season. And on the benches, Noah Phillips, Randall Williams, Dan Pratley, Sonny Perkins, Jalang Jayassimi, Sean Clare and Azim Abdullahi. And just how, I'll be touching it, but how big would 3 points be here? It's not a must-win, but it's a fantastic opportunity to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, I think for a team that want to be in the playoffs and push towards that, you know, we've lost 3 on the bounce now, so we do need to answer back, and like all the good teams will do that. I think if we just do the basics well and we have, like, play our positive, quick football, then I have no doubt tonight that we can definitely pick up 3 points. It's
been an absolutely relentless fixture schedule as well. Starting to slow down a little bit, but it's been brutal. We've got to dig deep for just another 90 minutes.
Yeah, it has been brutal. You know, you look back at the last few weeks. I was just thinking that, you know, this time last Tuesday, I was in St Andrews watching the Birmingham game, and I didn't know that 10 minutes into that game we'd be losing our left back, have a real uphill battle after that, and then Saturday comes around and it's another game, and now it's Tuesday all over again, and we have to go at it and be right at it straight from the off again.
Well, the pre-match formalities are coming to a close. There's a man that we don't want to see in Rotherham. Celebrations again, not after 2014, but anyway, you won't dwell on that one too much. But that means kick-off is very nearly upon us, so time to hand over to our match crunch team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.